Thanks for joining me here today. On a personal note, before we get started, I always do my best to try to listen to your feedback. And something we've heard repeatedly from you guys is that you want to see more content like this and less of the slideshow style content that we've been doing in the past. Now, for some of the longer form videos that we do that's documentary style, we're probably going to continue on with that. But that doesn't mean that we can't give you news videos that are just like this most of the time. Now, with that said, I really appreciate you guys sticking with the channel, helping it grow. And again, I always want to make sure that we are listening to what is important to you and making the show as best as we can, because at the end of the day, we're rock and metal fans too. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So thanks for sticking out with us, and I hope you enjoy the new format. System of a Down is back in the headlines today after Daron Malakian, the band's longtime guitarist, has given a new interview in which he shares his personal thoughts on the current state of System of a Down. Now, we've covered this ad nauseum in the past, and essentially there is a dispute between Daron and Serge and some of the other members. Serge wants more songwriting credits. He also wants an equal percentage, where he says that Daron was getting quote-unquote the lion's share of royalties from the band at that time. And since then, they haven't been able to reach any sort of an agreement on releasing or recording new music. And here we are, years later, over a decade later, we're not any closer to where we were in the past with System of a Down music, except for that one time where we saw pictures of them in the studio and it looked like it was really going to happen. Now, in a new interview with Consequence of Sound, Daron is giving commentary on exactly what he thinks the status of the band is and whether or not he's still holding out hope of for there to be new System of a Down music. Spoiler alert, it's not good. So here's what he had to say. Daron says in the new interview, "Honestly, I don't think the fans really give a shit why we are not making an album, but I think a lot of the fans want an album. Like, for example, I'm a Van Halen fan. When David Lee Roth and Van Halen split up, I didn't really care why. I was just sad that they split up and I wanted another Van Halen album. I think I just didn't want to do anything that was going to be a back and forth thing. I think maybe there might have been some backlash. I think Serge might have been getting some backlash from fans and felt like he wanted to express himself. Me and him, we've talked about it already through email, and it's between me and him. But from my end, I think I don't want to do a back and forth thing." He gave his point of view. I have my point of view and my own recollections, I guess you could say, of how things went down 10, 15 years ago. But like I said, it's not something I want to hash out in front of the fans. Asked during the interview about whether or not he was still holding on to hope that System of a Down could release new music, the outlook didn't seem much better. He said, "There was a time that I was waiting and rooting for it and hoping it happens, but I'm kind of happy with what I'm doing with Scars. We all get along as friends in System of a Down, so as friends, everything is cool and I have no problem with anybody. But then as band members, we tend to have different ways of wanting to do things, and it doesn't seem like we meet eye to eye as band members, so I never say never because you never know what happens, but at the same time, I don't see that happening anytime soon, that we're all going to get together and make a new System of a Down record." So as these guys have sort of repeatedly said before, they are still good friends, they are still brothers in this band, but you won't catch them probably talking business in the sense of lining up these royalties or sharing songwriting or anything like that probably in the future. In the meantime, the good news is this: System of a Down still performs live, sparingly although, but you can catch them live if you're a diehard fan, and they seem to enjoy playing the classics. Let's put it this way. There are a lot of bands that go way past their prime and they put out new music, and the new music, let's just be honest, people aren't as excited about it as they once were. And System of a Down, every album they put out has some special meaning to fans. The likelihood of a band over these last 10 years releasing an album every 2 years or so, the music is probably going to be stale. It's hard to make lightning strike twice or even 3 times. It's nearly impossible. So the good news is that System of a Down is still playing live, and those fans that their music means so much to can still continue to enjoy that. So that is something that is definitely positive and something great for fans who still want to catch this band live. We're going to be keeping an eye on this situation and much more, so if you're new here, be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on breaking hard rock and heavy metal news. You can also check out the recommended videos up on your screen. Thanks so much for joining us here today at Rockfeed, and we'll see you all very soon.